So when the whole incident unfolded, I decided, along with my relatives, that just to be safe, we were going to go into the El Vez restaurant that was, on Vesey Street. I'm just doing a follow-up video to let you know what happened. It's currently 9 p.m. and I reported I just called the news to report, 6 shots. Finally, I made the whole report and everything. And it turned out that's exactly what happened. The bad guy has been caught, but his motives are still not clear. My belief is that he had some sort of mental instability. I don't know why he did what he did, but it's definitely something to do with his psyche. He probably had some sort of mental health issues, or it could have been something else. But mental health issues are definitely to blame for this. And what leading me to believe it's mental health issues is because the guy had toy guns. Not toy, but non-lethal guns, basically. And he used a truck to run people over, which is kind of, suspicious. Like, he used a vehicle instead of, a firearm. Why did he use a vehicle? To cause more damage. Yeah. And I think that New York City's bike lane should be barricaded. Not only with like little bars. I mean, imagine if somebody's mental health issues decide to drive through a bike lane. Boom. No, bike lanes need to have concrete barricades. Like, seriously, like, concrete barricades need to be put up. I'm thinking, okay, what if there's a car accident? The car's going to go right into the bike lane. Yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money, but it's going to save a lot of lives. And in this case, it would have saved at least 10 lives today. Or 8 lives, it doesn't matter. One death is too much. It's tragic. And it could save perhaps 50, 60 lives a year. Maybe not that much, but maybe even more, maybe a little less. But if I have to spend $1,000 to save somebody's life, I would do it. I honestly would. What I'm trying to say is the city should maybe spend a little more to ensure our safety. Instead of like trying to waste money on security, it should spend money on ways to make traveling safer. Bike lanes should be barricaded. Sidewalks should be like, there should be like a wall, like a barricade to prevent people from going onto sidewalks. I mean, look, we live in the 21st century. And yet here in the United States, in New York, we're still living like in the 20th century. Look, in Europe, you got barricades to prevent people from falling on the subway tracks. And same thing in South Korea. Look, in Seoul, the subway system is all glass. You can't fall into the tracks. They should do the same thing on the streets, too. They should put maybe 5, 6 foot, or maybe 3, 4 foot barricades to prevent cars from going onto the sidewalks. Whether intentionally or accidentally, someone loses control because it's icy weather, it should act as a barricade. It shouldn't be pure concrete. It should be kind of like rubber insulated so that there'll be less damage to the car. It should be rubber coated with, concrete. Rubber on the outside, concrete inside. That'll be kind of good. The rubber will ensure that there's not much damage to the car or its occupants, and the concrete inside will prevent the car from going to the sidewalk and possibly injuring somebody, or perhaps even worse. So, I mean, if I became mayor of New York City, I'll make some big changes. Look, you can't prevent everybody from doing bad things. And instead of spending money on security, what you need to spend money on is mental health and, and safety measures. Look, mental health issues are the main reason for all these violent acts that are going on. It's not because, a person's bad. No, it's mental health issues. Look, my cousin back in 2004 was seriously injured by a man with mental health issues. Why, should we punish everyone with mental health issues? I have a mental health issue too. I have autism. and I have depression. The depression I got as a result of being bullied for many years. So some mental health issues you're born with, some you develop because of the environment. Mine is, of course, is environmental. Autism is genetic. So one disorder I have is genetic, and a second is environmental. But my main disability is actually not autism, it's actually anxiety. Autism and anxiety kind of go hand in hand, but anxiety makes it much worse. Look, I have autism, but that's not the debilitating part. Not at all. Actually, it's the anxiety and the depression that's been really debilitating for me. And the reason I have the anxiety and the depression is because of discrimination, bullying mostly, and some traumatic things I went through in my life regarding the bullying. I made some videos about it earlier, but here's the thing. I don't have anger issues. I don't have, any tendencies like that. But most of my life, since I was a teenager, I was a pessimist. I honestly used to think the worst, not of the world itself, but of how people treat me. I used to think everybody's out to get me. And it sure seemed that way. It really did. My whole class hated me. My teacher hated me. I mean, maybe because I put out that vibe out there that everyone hates me. That's what really happened. Self-fulfilled prophecy. I even told the teacher that you probably hate me as well. And apparently I got her upset and she really did hate me. Maybe I just realized that she hated me, but by telling her directly to her face what I felt, what she thought about me, got her really upset, and she treated me worse after that. And even my own family, kind of started treating me bad after I, criticized how they treated me. So that just made me more and more upset. I did develop anger issues for a while, but directed at my abusers. So my outbursts were healthy, like standing up for my rights. But there's some people who decide to unfortunately take out their angers on other people, on innocent people. That's the issue. Mentally, I don't really have any problems. My thought process are completely sane. But I always feel like people are out to get me, that I'm not going to succeed in life because of discrimination. I mean, look, I made a video a few days ago, about a week ago, saying that I'm going to be a grocery store bagger after I graduate college. I mean, based on the way things are going for me, that is definitely a possibility, and especially if I don't improve my attitude or my outlook on life, that's a real possibility. I mean, unfortunately, 85% of college graduates with autism are unemployed, while the unemployment rate among graduates with autism or without autism is 4.5%. Or whereas the normal unemployment rate is 4.5%. So imagine college graduates with this condition, which make up only 2% of the population, have an 85% unemployment rate. And that's with college graduates. Actually, people with autism who did not go to college have an unemployment rate of somewhere in the 70s. So things are actually worse for graduates than people who did not go to college. Which means the prospects for my future are not looking good. They're definitely not. And that's why I'm depressed. That's why I'm very anxious, because I read that statistic and it shook me to my core. I always thought that because I have autism, I was, subjugated, that I'm probably not going to get a good job, like because of discrimination. And because, I don't do well in interviews. That's actually the primary reason for that 85% unemployment rate. Anxiety on interviews, like very bad anxiety. Unfortunately, autism and anxiety goes hand in hand. And because of the anxiety, people with autism suffer anxiety much more severely than other people. And also, in addition to anxiety, some people with autism, don't make eye contact. Most people with autism don't, but that makes a person, who's interviewing them, judge them for how they act and for their skills. I had an interview at a fast food restaurant just a few days ago. I came in there looking really sharp. You saw how I was dressed. Hair back, gel, a plaid shirt with a tie, black shoes, smart pants, smart shoes, Like I was really dressed to impress. And I really tried to sell myself well. I tried to make eye contact as much as I could. I tried my best to be positive. I might have even overdone it a little, like presenting my skills a little too grandiosely. But when I think back about what I did, I thought I tried to be as honest as I could. I told them that I know how to make, stir fry, to cook, which is true. I do. I do know how to cook, and I've actually competed in school cooking competitions, and at my former school, and I came at being one of the top contenders. But it doesn't matter how good I am. The fact is, I can't get a job. I can be the best in the world at something, but if I can't get the job, what's the point of having that skill if it's never going to be put to use? Seriously, what's the point? I'm really good at weather. You see all my videos. I'm doing this deliberately so I can get a job in meteorology to prove to people, you see, I know what I'm doing. And so hopefully, they'll see my resume and hire me, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are not going to hire me. Maybe discrimination, maybe because, I'm not very good looking. I mean, I don't look very attractive at all. I actually look kind of mediocre, to be honest with you. Look. When I was a kid, everyone told me that I was really cute. My mom told me that. But then when I grew up, people started telling me I was ugly. So as a child, I was really cute and handsome. The whole, But then as an adult, I look like this. This is how I normally look. I'm shaven, you see, right? I always shave against the grain. I shave every couple days. And now look at me. This is how my hair is. This is when I put gel. I'm trying to keep my hair nice, comb it, gel it. You see I have all these calyx sticking up. If I shave it, I'm ugly. If I keep it like this, I'm ugly. And then on top of that, my hair was really good looking that day because it was swept back and everything. But I think I screwed it up. How did I screw it up? I'll tell you. Right after the interview, I had this internal feeling telling me that I failed the interview, that I'm not going to get the job. So I sat down, ate my food, and a person sat next to me. And she happened to be one of the interviewers who was on a break because it was like a career day. And I told her that I failed the interview. So we chatted a couple minutes, and I told her why I failed. And I didn't mention discrimination. I mentioned my own shortcomings. I mentioned that I was too anxious and all that, I said that because of my anxiety, I could never get a job there. But I told her that I'm working one part-time job, which is true. And a lot of the customers are asking to see me, which is true. A lot of them are. I give excellent customer service. But the problem is, I got nothing to show for it. I'm not getting a second job. I'm barely getting through college now, because of financial reasons. And it's stuff like this that leads to people with mental health issues. It's stuff that I'm going through. Only some people go through a lot worse than what I'm going through. A lot of people with autism, unfortunately, are going through a lot right now. And I'm sorry for changing the subject, so quickly from what happened in Manhattan today through what I'm going through. But look, it's all related to one thing: mental health issues. Of course, it's not the world's fault. It's not. It's actually my fault for being such a pessimist. Actually, when I got the job that I have now, I was actually being more optimistic than I usually was, which is probably why I got the job. And recently, I don't mean to brag, but I got an A on my math test, which is completely unexpected. I know why, because I studied my butt off and I really tried hard. That's why I passed. Well, I gotta go now. Thank you for watching. Bye.